When it comes to EA games on Nintendo consoles, it's well known that these versions do feel a bit like an afterthought, be it lack of content or released months or even years after its initial release on other consoles. It really does feel like EA just doesn't care about Nintendo gamers. Yet they still release games for the Switch, and as regular as clockwork, we have our yearly dose of FIFA for the Switch, with FIFA 21 Legacy Edition, and as you can guess from the title, it's another half-baked version for Switch gamers. The subtitle Legacy Edition really does give this away, as EA started doing this for the last few FIFA games on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and the only thing they contained was updated kits and UI, and charged nearly full price for the privilege. And EA started to give Switch gamers this treatment last year with the incredibly lazy FIFA 20 Legacy Edition, and unfortunately, it's the same issue here with FIFA 21. To EA's credit, they've not shied away from admitting how little development has actually gone into the title. They even stated on the eShop that, and I quote, FIFA 21 Legacy Edition will feature the same gameplay innovations from FIFA 20 without any new development or significant enhancement. Yet for all this lack of effort, EA still thinks that this is a title worth 45 of your hard-earned pounds. It's disgusting. And to put that price into context, you could go to the supermarket and pick up any one of the Switch's biggest first-party titles like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey for more or less the same price. It's incredibly shocking. So what is actually included in the game? You have your bog standard kickoff mode, which you can play a match against the computer or a friend locally. There's also rules included as well to spice up matches. There's also career mode, tournaments, skill games and women's international football to make for a fair amount of modes. But alas, there's no new modes here, and again the Volta mode isn't included, which is a huge disappointment. But as this game is a carbon copy of last year's game, it shouldn't come as no surprise. There is online multiplayer here, which is good to see, and the netcode is pretty stable, but as this is a FIFA game, it should come as no surprise that FIFA Ultimate Team does make a return here, as well as those ludicrous and incredibly greedy microtransactions. To the game's credit, it does play a decent game of football, but like last year's entry, it does lack any improvements that the other console versions have added over the years. Presentation wise, the game, to its credit, does actually look pretty decent with some rather detailed character models. The stadiums also look pretty good too, and the game does run at a smooth frame rate. Playing the game in handheld play is still rather impressive, especially compared to Android and iOS versions of the game. It is a shame that EA doesn't give the Switch a chance with its own title built from the ground up and playing to the console's strengths. I mean, it's a console that can run Witcher 3 and Doom. I guess it's all down to money, and EA doesn't want to invest too much into a title that might not provide much profit. But as we move to a new console generation and the cycle begins again, the Switch provides a perfect example of a very viable platform for EA to put time and effort into, as the install base is incredibly high. Here's hoping EA listens for next year's FIFA game. Conclusion time now, and yet again EA has let Switch gamers down with an utterly shambolic release that has zero effort put into it. With no new development or enhancements, this is just FIFA 20 all over again, with the only new thing here is updated kits and stadiums, and to charge an eye-watering £45 for this is daylight robbery. It's even more of a joke when you find out that the controversial microtransactions for the FIFA Ultimate Team mode are also included. There is no way that you should support this awful and greedy tactic from EA, and if you want a FIFA game on Switch, just get one of the older ones as they are cheaper and pretty much the same experience. So with that, I'm giving FIFA 21 Legacy Edition on the Switch a 3 out of 10 with a title of awful. As always, thank you for watching my review, and if you could like and subscribe, that would be great. And until next time, happy gaming. Bye.